Hello everyone. Today I will be presenting how to use Git and GitHub in Liquid Galaxy projects and what all is the workflow and how to contribute to the Liquid Galaxy projects. So let's move on and first of all understand what is Git and GitHub. So GitHub is a space where you will be saving your code and you can anyone as per you can save your progress of the code and you can share that particular piece of code to the anyone, like if you are working in a group, so that particular code so the multiple as in the industry also there is a project and many of the developers and managers are there to work basically on the one project. So when one project is accessible to many members, that is possible by GitHub, where more than one people can access the your repository and you can save your progress. And there's a one or more word which we hear, that is Git. So Git is basically like uh, intermediate which helps you to get your code from the GitHub to your workspace and your workspace to the first of all you bring your code from workspace to basically from GitHub to your workspace so that you can do your changes, whatever features you want to add and what all changes you want to do in the code. After doing that code, you push that code with the help of Git to the GitHub again. So GitHub is like a remote repository where your main repository is there, and your workstation is basically a local a system where you have basically cloned the repository. In further slides, we will be seeing what is the workflow, what how the Git and pushes and pulls. So let's move on. First of all, understand how Git powers Liquid Galaxy. So there are 100 plus contributors all over the world, like across 20 countries, who are continuously working on Liquid Galaxy projects. So it is necessary to use these kind of platform which are accessible all over the internet and can be contribute. So the other contributors can contribute to the code at the same time if someone want to add a feature, so that is possible. So that is possible by GitHub and Git. So Liquid Galaxy GitHub is mostly organizing around 118 plus active repositories, which are all related to, like as we can see, the Flutter based app to control the Liquid Galaxy, all the UI UX related to the other apps, and the Python based backend, and the KML files, which are basically the core of Liquid Galaxy, as Liquid Galaxy is all about Google Earth. So Google Earth is understanding the KML only to perform a specific operation. So, in these 118 repositories, there are repositories of Google Summer of Code and all other projects which are related to the Liquid Galaxy. So that is the how the Git and GitHub are very essential for the Liquid Galaxy. Now, let me give you a brief about that how Liquid Galaxy is using GitHub landscape. So there is a primary Liquid Galaxy lab as a Liquid Galaxy is present on GitHub, where like all the information related to the installation of Liquid Galaxy rigs on the system, what are the codes and what all are the projects are all these things are available on GitHub. And project types like controller Flutter app from phone or for a tablet, visualizations like NASA API data and climate tracking, all these related visualization code is present on the Liquid Galaxy GitHub. And projects like which are using AI, voice control, and automated tours like a GeoVision AI. So these all are present on Liquid Galaxy GitHub. Now let's understand the GitHub fundamental. So there's a term repository. So repository is basically where you are putting your code in the GitHub. So there are like two type of repo which we can say, local and remote. like a local remote system is basically when you are on the GitHub, so that when your repository is present on GitHub, that is your remote system. When you are cloning that to your system to edit it, or like to your system, if you are like cloning the other uh, some others repository, then you can we are bringing that to your account, and that is basically fork, and then you are cloning that to your code editor. So that is basically when you are the when the repository is present, repository of code is present on the GitHub, that is called remote, and when you are bringing it to your system, that will be called as a local. Second term is commit. We all know what is commit. In the bank transactions also there is a term commit. So similarly here we are doing a permanent change. Like we are taking a snapshot of the work which we are doing. With that we will be adding up like a comment also, which we will be seeing in further slides, that how to write that comment, what is the right way to write that comment. So these commits are basically telling the your, if you are working on some others repository, so these all giving the update of your work, that how you are working on the project. Then there is a term branch. So branch is basically uh, when there is a like a main branch in which the like if you are working on some others repository, so there is a main branch of that particular uh, repository. So in that main branch, all code related to which is why now done is there. So these are like a parallel universe. If you are cloning that repository to your local system, then you will be creating a new branch so that your the main branch cannot be disturbed. And if there is some error, so the shifting from your like branching is like you are testing something. When you have to do some experiment, then you can create a new branch and then merge it with the main branch. Second is like remote, as I said also. The origin will be your fork on GitHub. When you have taken a repository of some other by fork in your account, that will be called origin, and the upstream will be called the main repository of the original owner. That repository will be called the upstream. So now let's move on and understand the workflow from fork to local, how we are like contributing to the others like repository, how we can add our features. So I'll be giving you the demo of this part also in the end of the presentation. Let's understand. Fork is basically you are just when when you decide to work on some others repository, or want to add some new features to the code of the particular repository. So there is an option to fork. Fork is basically you are bringing the say the ditto, the copy of that repository to your account. Then the copy of the as the copy of code will be coming to your account. Then you will be working on that. After that, you will be cloning that. Cloning is basically you will be taking that account to your code editor, like basically whatever code editor you are using, VS Code or Google Anti-Gravity. So you will be taking that uh, uh, from your like remote to the local machine. So then you will be doing a clone. The command for a clone is git. So to run the command of git, it is must that your system is installed with the git. Then you will be writing a git clone, and then you will be pasting the URL which you will be getting from the repo. I will be showing you that. Cloning is basically you are taking, first of all, you take that repository original to your account, then from your account to the code editor. That is basically first step is fork, and then second step is cloning. Now understanding the upstream, you are like working the main repo of the original owner will be called upstream, and the origin will be called your fork, as you can see in the visual also. This is basically upstream is basically to always pull from the upstream before starting work to avoid merge conflict. Now let's understand what is merge conflict. Like when we are working on a particular code, and we and the, in the on the original side someone make a change. So when you will give a pull request, So the that particular code which when you are working, that particular code has been missed. So that should not happen. So to avoid that, we are using that is basically the merge conflict. To avoid that conflict, we are using upstream so that we can sync with the project, what is going on in the main project, main repository, what changes are being done by the other contributors also. This is very important to use upstream because when there are more group of people working on the one project, so it is necessary to use upstream so that the changes which others are doing, they should not be disturbed when you are also uh, merging that your branch with the main. So this is the loop, like local repo, pull upstream repo, and then push your fork, and then push to the local repo. This is all the loop. Now understanding the branching and its development. So as a visual says, the rule never work directly on the main branch. So, why we should not work on the main branch? So, and we have to understand this like back we when we are there's a main branch where the all the merged and the working code is there. But when you are adding a new feature to that particular branch or the repository or the code, so you should create a new branch because if there is some sort of error in your feature, so that there can be a shifting from your branch to the main. That is basically there will not be there will not be any effect on main, so that if at a time of any problem, you can directly shift to the main, which is already working. So for that you must create your own branch in which you can make do the experiment also, like your code is running or not, and after that uh, you can merge that with your with the main branch if all well goes well. Like you can say that how we should name. So you send if you are like adding a feature of fixed KML parsing and like a GSoC UI redesign. So these all are like the branch name which you can give. Now to create a new branch, here is a command like git checkout dash b. So dash b is basically you are telling to the git that you are creating a new branch, and then you can name your sorry, the branch like features, your feature name you can add like you can say features fix KML parsing or adding a, QR code scanner to connect to the Liquid Galaxy all. Now there's a commit, there's a thing for the commit. When we are committing, there's a kind of we have to update there that what we are adding or what feature we are updating. So there's a saying that small and frequent commit are easier to review than a one giant mega commit. So it is easy that you should use like when you are saying that we will be seeing in the further slide of the commit, like you can see crafting a commit quality. So you can say that it should be short and crisp that what you are doing, like add login validation. So it will be helping the mentor while it will be evaluating or seeing that what the particular developer is doing at the particular time. So explain like the why and how, not just what, in a short and a crisp manner. And the formatting is there like git commit dash m, and then you will be writing the comment which you will be giving like brief summary, like you will be giving adding a login validation or adding a QR, or you are adding a payment section for a particular page all. So these are the very big mistakes with new contributors. They will be like writing a mega commit to the so that it will be not easy for the evaluator to check what the particular developer is doing. As the standard point also says that it will be helping the mentors to track your progress. Now let's move on and Now let's see that you have forked the main repository, you have worked on that repository, and now by creating a new branch, you have worked by cloning that in your code editor. Now you have to push that repository to the back to the GitHub. So for that, you will be sending your branch to your fork first, which is in your account. So that will be git push origin, the branch which you have created, the feature name. Origin is in front of origin, we will be writing the branch. After that, when we will be going to the particular repository on GitHub, then we will be seeing a pop-up where it is be written that the name of branch, and then there will be a button, green button to like pull request and compare with the original repository. When we will be clicking on that pull request, so there will be a that will be to basically navigate to the original repository on which we will be working. And then we will be writing a PR template like we will be providing the description that what features which we have added, how it will be helpful to others, and why the mentor should accept your request, and what are the features bringing up, what new how it is helping to the new contributors, and all you can provide all the details related to your features which you have added. Then you can draft a PR with like a work in progress to get early feedback. And after that, mentor code review and iteration will be happening. The mentor will comment on a specific line of code that if that is you can change it to that, then that will be a good. And then the if the mentor will be accepting, then it will be accepted to the, and then it will be merged to the main branch if your feature will be accepted, and it will be helpful. Now let's understand some common mistakes which we have to avoid. Like it says that prefer Git rebash to keep linear history. So it is very important to uh, uh, when you are working on a code, so it is very necessary to run this command git rebase, so that you can keep your history like linear history, what you are doing and what all commits you are doing. Don't merge the commits when you are working on if you are like adding again the specific, so that should not happen. The merge should of the commit should not happen. Then the second is never commit secret. So when you are like giving an API or a personal configuration, so then APIs are basically stored in .env. So you must use a git ignore. So git ignore is basically it tells the git to ignore some files so that they should not be trackable by any other who is accessing your repository. So it will be providing a safety to your API key and a personal info which you are writing in your code. So that is a security for us only. Large file be as a Liquid Galaxy works on a KML. So KML are very large. So it is very important you are checking it frequently before pushing it to the to the GitHub. After your PR is successfully accepted, then you can merge your the branch which you have created while working on uh, the specific repository. Then you can merge it with the main branch so that the features which you have updated, they can also be merged. So yeah, now I will be explaining you the in a demo that how to fork and work on the repository. Now we will be seeing the Liquid Galaxy environment on GitHub. So here's a main GitHub of Liquid Galaxy where you can see all the related information. Here are the repositories. Like we can see that it is managing around 118 repositories where all the projects of Google Summer of Code and all other projects are here. And we can open anyone, and we can, if we want to contribute, then we can. Now I will be showing you that how to fork the repository into your account so that you can work on that, and later on pull a request so that the mentor can check your work. So for that, I am taking this repository. This is basically a repository which is basically uh, provided by the mentor Vedant. In this, we this is basically to create a Flutter-based app to control Liquid Galaxy rigs. So if we want to like create a Liquid Galaxy controller app, so then we can, as we have created in task 2 also, so we can fork it from here. There's a button to fork. So from here the fork of process starts. So we have to click on the fork. As we click on the fork, this kind of interface will come. And now we can see the owner this time will be us, and the repository name can be changed also if as per your requirement, but we will be taking the same, keeping the same as it is available, and we are copying the master branch only. So now create a fork. Here master is the main branch of that repository. Now you can see that this is my account, and now this is, you can see there is a sign of fork here. So now this all repository is forked into my account. Now we have to clone this repository to work on it in our like code editor or whatever editor you are using. For that, you have to go to this code button here, click on that, and then you have to copy this URL which is in HTTPS. Copy this, and then we will be opening code editor. I am basically using Google Anti-Gravity, so we will be going to Google Anti-Gravity. So I have created this folder in which like with the name of Git and GitHub, in which I will be cloning that. So for that we have to write clone git clone. So yeah, one more thing, to run these commands it is necessary that your system has been installed with Git. So now git clone, then we have to paste the link which we have copied from that uh, from our account repo, fork repo. Then we will be clicking on enter. So now you can see that cloning into is done. You can see that cloning is done. So now we can see there is a folder Liquid Galaxy connection. Now we can see the code here. Here is a code. So as you can see that I have created the Git and GitHub. So currently in the terminal we are seeing that only. For now moving on, what we have to do is we have to move inside that so that we can work on this folder. For that we have to enter, and then we have to give this name to it, Liquid Galaxy connection. So now we are inside the our main folder. As I've said that we are not working on the main branch, that is the master branch of this repository. So we will be creating a new branch basically. So for that we have to write a command git checkout, and then we'll be giving a slash b. So this b is basically to telling the git that we are creating a new branch. So we can create a branch like my features or my awesome features. Yeah. So as we click on enter, so here we can see that switch to the new branch, my awesome features. So yeah, now we have created a new branch. So now we can edit this code. Basically, let's me take you to the to do task one, which is in IYM. Yeah, here is the task one. There is a list of to do tasks by mentor Vedant. So our task one is to if I do this change in here, if I we have to add the Dart SSH. So if I click on follow link, so then we will be going to the Dart website, and then I have to paste it here. It is that. So now we have did some changes. So let me save it. And to check what changes we have did, we can run a command in terminal like uh, git status. So as we can see that modified the pubsec.yml. Now what we have to do is ki this commit this is done in our code editor, that it is saying that you have modified that particular file. Now we have to add it. For that we have to run git add, and this dot is basically you are adding all the changes. This is a one of the process for committing your change. So you are adding all the changes which you have done. So for that we are adding dot. Then we will click. So there will be no pop-up or anything written in terminal. It will just be like that. And then we have to do git commit, and then we have to give a message basically what update we are doing. So we are uh, adding dart package. So we have added the Dart package. So now we can see one file changed. Now this is like a change in our life. So now we have to create a upstream so that we can uh, sync with the code which is going on in the main repository, so that there will be no like merge conflict. So we have to push this code. We can push it like git push. So if you run this, then you will be getting an error because see your current branch. So for that we have to do a, like here you can see upstream. So for that we have to git push uh, set upstream, and then we can give our origin. So origin is basically our repository which is in our account. So in that we have created my awesome features. So yeah, no, you can see the work is going on, and you can see that setup to the track is done now. So now if we move on to the our repository which is here, so you can see when I go to this account, so you can see that there is a compare and pull request option. My awesome feature, that is our, if I reload this page, refresh this page, so you can see now there are two branches in our account, and whatever changes we have done, we can now compare and pull request to the to the original owner of the repository, so that if they want to add our features, then they can accept our pull request. So this is how you can contribute to the Liquid Galaxy projects, and this was all the work, how the Git and GitHub are working, and this is how you can do the fork to your account, and then cloning and whatever the addition you have to do with the help of streams, so that you can be stay synced with the original repository also. So yeah, thank you. That was all about Git and GitHub with Liquid Galaxy.